The story begins with our protagonist Max Clawfield, an 18-year-old aspiring photographer and senior at Blackwell Academy, a prestigious school in the town of Arcadia Bay, Oregon. Max wakes up on a forest trail confused during a storm. She makes her way towards the lighthouse up the hill only to see a massive tornado approaching. Just before she dies, Max wakes up in her photography class, taught by the world-famous Mark Jefferson, a renowned photographer. The bell rings and Mr. Jefferson hounds Max about not yet submitting a photo for the Everyday Heroes contest, which is a national competition that basically kickstarts a career. Max gives a reluctant response and is dismissed. It's worth noting that throughout the halls of Blackwell, there are missing persons posters of Rachel Amber, a former Blackwell student. Max heads for the bathroom and ends up tearing up her contest entry. Then, Butterfly Ex Machina happens, and Max seizes the opportunity for a picture. That's when Nathan Prescott, popular rich kid extraordinaire, enters and doesn't notice Max hiding behind the stalls. An unknown girl with blue hair then enters the bathroom and checks a few of the stalls to make sure they're alone. They begin to talk and it's obvious she's trying to blackmail him. Things get heated and Nathan pulls a gun. The girl pushes him and the gun goes off. That's when Max reaches out and finds herself back in her photography class earlier that day. Discovering she has the ability to rewind time, she makes her way back to the bathroom and pulls the fire alarm before the gun goes off. You then walk around for a bit testing out your new powers before returning to your dorm to pick up a flash drive you borrowed from a friend. On your way to return it, you see the head of security grilling your friend Kate Marsh. After you meet with your friend Warren in the parking lot and return his flash drive, Nathan shows up and gets violent and this happens.
Max? Chloe?
Warren hits Nathan's fist with his face and gives you time to escape. Turns out the girl with the blue hair is Chloe, Max's childhood friend who she hasn't seen or spoken to in 5 years since leaving Arcadia Bay.
So you came back to Arcadia for a teacher, not your best friend.
Max and Chloe hang out and you discover Rachel Amber and Chloe became best friends after you left, and Chloe is the one that put up all the missing posters. Chloe tells Max that she vanished 6 months ago. Chloe gives Max a new camera and keeps her Butterfly Ex Machina picture. Turns out Chloe's stepfather David is the head of security at Blackwell, and he's spying on students with surveillance cameras and keeping detailed files. The girls go to a spot they used to hang out as kids and Max recognizes it as the same spot from her dream. Chloe then reveals that Nathan drugged her by spiking her drink, but she managed to escape. She was blackmailing him to pay off her debt. Max has another vision of the tornado headed straight for Arcadia Bay, but this time she finds a newspaper dated October 11th, which is 4 days away. Max snaps out of it and tells Chloe what she saw and about her powers. That's when it starts snowing despite the warm weather. The next day, Max goes into town to the diner Chloe's mom works at. Chloe arrives fashionably late and Max proves to her that her powers are real. Chloe then takes Max to her hangout spot at the junkyard. They shoot some bottles with a gun Chloe stole from her stepfather and play around with her rewind powers. Max then gets another nosebleed because of straining herself and collapses. She catches another glimpse of the storm before she wakes up again. Just when Max is about to try shooting the gun, Frank, the friendly neighborhood drug dealer, shows up to remind Chloe that she owes him a lot of money. Chloe notices Frank is wearing one of Rachel Amber's bracelets and things get heated, but this time Max is the one to pull the gun out. But it gets taken away by Frank shortly after. Chloe and Max then walk along the train tracks for a bit until they decide to lay down and relax, or something. Max has another vision. When she comes to, Chloe's foot is stuck on the tracks with the train fast approaching. But once again, Max saves her just in time using her powers. Returning to Blackwell, Max sees her friend Kate Marsh visibly upset leaving class. Shortly after, a student yells that something crazy is happening at the dorms. Everyone rushes over and Max makes it just in time to see Kate jump to her death. Max desperately tries to rewind and is able to seemingly pause time. She manages to make it to the roof just before her powers stop working. Unable to rewind, she tries to convince Kate to come down, and depending on your choices, she either lives or dies. Later that night, Max meets Chloe on campus with the keys to the school that she stole from her stepfather. They break into the principal's office and steal files, most notably on Nathan Prescott and one of his creepy drawings mentioning Rachel Amber in the dark room. Also, Chloe tries to steal a chair.
No, you are not taking the cozy chair.
Max, do your powers include mind reading? Or did you just rewind because I tried to steal the chair? Shit, I'm confused.
After a successful heist, the duo decide to stop by the pool on the way out. Security arrives, but they manage to get away without being busted. Max then crashes at Chloe's, and the next morning,
I dare you to kiss me.
What?
I double dare you. Kiss me now.
Max dons Rachel Amber's clothes and eats breakfast. Oh, also, all the birds are dying outside. Chloe's mom, Joyce, gives Maximus a photo of her and Chloe when they were kids, and they discuss William, Chloe's now deceased father. Chloe comes downstairs and causes a scene so Max can snoop in David's files. She finds out Rachel, Amber, and Frank were seeing each other. They track down Frank's RV and use time powers to steal his keys. Inside the RV, they find more evidence of the relationship between Rachel and Frank and his logbook of his deals. Chloe doesn't take it well. Max returns to her dorm and looks at the photo of her and Chloe as kids. That's when she starts hearing voices emitting from it. She focuses on the picture and is able to travel back in time to the moment it was taken, which happens to be the same day William died. Max hides his keys and persuades him to take the bus instead, saving him from the car crash that would have taken his life. When Max returns to the present, she finds herself surrounded by the Vortex Club, friends with Victoria, who's a bitch, and even hanging out with Nathan. Realizing that her actions have completely altered the timeline, she becomes worried about what this might mean for Chloe, and she boards the school bus only to see David as the new driver. She heads into town and sees several whales washed up on the beach. Max arrives at Chloe's house and is greeted by William, who then calls Chloe over. In this timeline, William never died, which set a chain of events in motion that caused Chloe to get into a car accident that leaves most of her body paralyzed. The two hang out for the first time in 5 years in this timeline. Max finds out that Chloe's family is drowning in debt trying to pay off medical bills, and that Chloe's condition is getting worse. Chloe mentions this herself and tells Max that it's not how she wants to die and asks you to give her a lethal dose of morphine so she can die on her own terms. The choice is up to the player. Max then focuses on the photo again, returning to the day William died. This time she doesn't hide the keys, returning everything to the way it was. Max returns to the present and finds herself in Chloe's room, not mentioning what just happened to Chloe. The two go back to Blackwell and break into Nathan's room and steal his phone. On the way out, Nathan shows up, but Warren goes ape on him. Next, they head to Frank's RV on the beach, and also more dead whales. They get his client list so they can decipher his logbook. Then they return to Chloe's house, and using Nathan's phone, David's files, and Frank's logbook, they find the location of a suspicious farm that Nathan has been spending time at. When they drive out to the farmhouse, they find a hidden underground bunker. Behind a safe door lies the infamous dark room, a creepy photographer's dream lair. In this mini studio, they find tons of equipment, and inside one of the cabinets, an assortment of red binders, each one with a different girl's name on it. 3 of them are labeled Rachel, Kate, and Victoria. Victoria's binder is empty, but both Kate's and Rachel's have pictures of the girls drugged and tied up. One photo in particular stands out. It appears to be Rachel dead in the junkyard. Chloe recognizes the spot and they rush over. Once there, they start digging only to find Rachel Amber's body. The girls return to Blackwell. The Vortex Club is holding their end-of-the-world party and 2 ominous moons hang in the sky. The girls bump into a drunk Warren and he takes a photo with Max. Inside, Victoria tells Max that Nathan isn't there and Mr. Jefferson announces Victoria as the winner of the Everyday Heroes contest.
Suck, Victoria!
Chloe gets a text from Nathan saying there won't be any evidence left of Rachel when he's done with her. The girls rush back to the junkyard and find Rachel's body still intact. Someone sneaks up and injects Max, and when Chloe turns around, she's killed. As Max loses consciousness, she looks up to see Mr. Jefferson standing above her. When Max regains consciousness, she finds herself tied up in the dark room. Using her powers in the photos taken by Jefferson, Max is able to jump to various interactions. In one of these, Jefferson mentions how Nathan is dead and buried, an easy-to-manipulate scapegoat. Max mentions the journal she had on her, and Jefferson throws it at her feet. Using the photo she took in class to travel back in time, this time she texts David the info about Jefferson and the darkroom, and walks up to hand in her photo for the contest. Jefferson is arrested and Max wins the Everyday Heroes contest. Flash forward to LA, Max is attending the Zeitgeist Gallery where the winning contest entries are being featured. Max gets a nosebleed and has another vision of the storm. She then calls Chloe and finds out her vision is real and the tornado is headed straight for Arcadia Bay. Realizing she didn't fix anything, Max rushes to her contest entry and goes back in time to when she took the picture. She tears the photo apart, but unfortunately this solves nothing because she wakes up in the dark room yet again. This time Jefferson has burnt her diary, leaving no photos. Just before she's about to die, David shows up and using her powers, Max assists in capturing Jefferson. Realizing Chloe is still dead in this timeline, Max calls Warren asking him about the photo he took the other night. Warren has it but is stuck in the diner and the storm is getting worse. Max gets in Jefferson's car and drives into town, and on the way finds out Nathan left her a voicemail trying to warn her.
Max, it's Nathan. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt Kate or Rachel or I didn't want to hurt anybody. Everybody used me. Mr. Jefferson is coming for me now. All this shit will be over soon. Watch out, Max. He wants to hurt you next. Sorry.
Approaching the diner, the destruction the storm is causing becomes more evident. Inside the diner, Warren, Joyce, Frank, and his dog are all taking shelter. Max uses the photo Warren kept to go back to the night of the party. Max warns Chloe of what will happen if they go to the party in search of Nathan. Instead, they go to the lighthouse to avoid the storm. Before reaching the lighthouse, however, Max passes out again. After a very extensive dream sequence, Max wakes up at the lighthouse with Chloe. The tornado is just about to hit Arcadia Bay. Max claims the storm is her fault. All her tampering with time is the cause of all of this. Chloe says the people of Arcadia Bay don't deserve this. She hands Max the butterfly photo and tells her she can stop all this by letting her die, therefore never altering fate. Your final choice is to sacrifice Chloe or Arcadia Bay.